All right, IB Physics. Today we're going to learn about the magic, magic of Google Sheets. And I'm going to actually start out with Google Sheets here on the interwebs on a laptop or like a desktop computer because there are some things that you can't do on the iPad that enrage me that you can't do that I want to show you are possible. And that is that let's say you have a sequence of numbers. Here goes 3, 6, 9, right? You can predict what comes next. Obvi is going to be 12, right? You're with me. But do you want to have to do that to fill in, I don't know, 92 numbers? Well, you could, but you might get kind of bored. And let's say I want you to fill in 1,000 numbers. You'd get pretty darn bored. And so one thing that computers do is that they don't get bored. They just keep going. So the cool thing here is that I can highlight these numbers and the computer will actually recognize that there's a pattern. By hovering my mouse over that little bottom blue dot, I can drag down. And look, the computer has recognized the pattern correctly as going up by 3s. What? That's pretty cool. And notice that I can just drag down infinitely and infinitely. And you know what? It's still counting up by 3s. And so here I have this giant list that I would have gotten pretty bored having to make myself, but the computer has happily generated just based on the input that I gave it. So this is something that you can't actually do on the iPad version, and I just, for the life of me, can't figure out why. So if you can figure out why, please let me know. But everything else that you're going to need, and then actually you don't even need this, I just want to show you too because it was cool, you can do on your iPad. So let's go ahead and refigure out how to reflect our iPads onto the computer, Ms. Getz. Can I do it? Will it succeed? You never know. I can! Wow, I feel so smart. So I am going to open up Google Sheets here on my iPad. It's just an app. Ooh, it's in dark mode. But why? Sure. Okay. And here we have the exact same document that I was just working on. So you can see my other me's mouse hovering over here. So the things that you can do on the iPad that I really wanted to point out are some really powerful things. So I have this sequence of numbers, and I didn't set up a second sequence of numbers. So let's just pause for a second and magically make it appear. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Movie magic. Wow. So we have these two sequences of numbers, and you're actually going to be looking at some specific physics data. But I want to show you the power of Google Sheets and the power of computation. So here we have these two sequences of numbers, and let's say that I want to actually multiply those two numbers together. So something is changing and I want to see what happens when those two things are multiplied together. So you know that you could do that by saying, okay, well, that first number, I'm going to enter it in a little formula. So I'm going to say equals, that first number is 3, and then it's times by 0. I could type in each number, right? Doing the most, I hit return, I get an answer. Yeah, of course, any number times 0 is 0. But that is really doing the most. And so the cool thing about this type of program is that I can enter in an equation and tell the computer to do it for me. So I'm going to again start with an equals because I'm making an equation. So I want to let the computer know this is an equation. And then I'm actually going to click on the box for the first thing. So that's box A2. And I just tapped it with my finger. And then I'm going to enter in that times sign. So shift 8. And then the box for B2. Ho-ho. I could also type in the letters, but I really like the clicking, and it actually shows them highlighted, that those are the two things, and you can see the little colors match up, which is pretty convenient. And I can go ahead and hit return. Again, equals 0, not super shocking, but the really cool thing is that I can actually go ahead and click on this and highlight down, whee, as far as I want, and tap on the screen, just like you're going to copy it, except instead of clicking copy, I'm going to click autofill. So what I've done is made the computer do all of these calculations for me. So if I click on, let's say, box 20 down here, so this is C20, I can actually see that it's taking A20 and it's multiplying it by B20, which is pretty cool. So it's doing this sequence of multiplication for me, And it will just keep doing that sort of instantaneously whenever you want. So let's try one more equation together. So this time, let's say I really actually just want those two numbers multiplied together. So I'm going to go through that same process with my equal sign. I'm going to click on the first number, and then I don't know, did I say added or multiplied? I'm going to say added. I want to add those two numbers together. So 1 plus that one. And let's just throw in another one and add in the next number. And so I'll hit return, and I can do that same thing where again, I'm going to circle this little, drag down from right here, this little blue dot, drag down, and tap on it, and hit autofill. So we can click here on line 10 and say, oh, look, it's adding together A and B and C. Oh, wait, that's not C10. If you make that a mistake, one thing that is a little bit annoying about the iPad version that isn't true in the computer version is that it's a little bit harder to fix your mistakes. If you make a mistake, I would recommend you want to go ahead and just delete everything that's there and go back to your original equation. So my original equation had a mistake here. I actually want it to be C2, not C3, because actually if you start with a mistake, it's gonna keep having that mistake. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that, and I'll click on the right box, or I could type in the number C2, and that would be fine as well. And hit return to fix my mistake. And again, same thing, drag down, tap on the screen, click autofill, and let's go double check on that line number 10 again. Okay, click on 10, double tap on 10, it will highlight and show me the equation and show me what boxes it's using for the equation. Okay, great, now it is C10, so it's using all the boxes that I expected it to use. So this is the extent of Excel and sheet skill that you're going to need to do this lab. In a moment, you're going to make a little copy, and I'd recommend just trying to make a little equation here in the you try column yourself. There are some really powerful things you can do with this involving locked cells and all sorts of really powerful computational things that we're just skimming the surface of what Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel are able to do. But take a moment, give this a try, and again, if you're using it on a laptop, which is just fine, it's going to function a little bit differently. So if I have my you-try equation here on the laptop is this plus this, it actually suggests the autofill for you. What? Oh, that's super cool. So it will suggest the autofill for you, or you can hover your mouse over the lower right-hand corner and drag down to wherever you want it to go to. Another thing that you can do that might work, it works on Excel. Does it work on Sheets? If I double click, yeah. Again, laptops are sometimes better for things. But this does work on your iPad, and your iPad will do everything you need to for this lab. So best of luck. Really consider your order of operations as you're doing calculations in either dataset A or dataset B, particularly thinking about acceleration order of operations. There's got to be parentheses there. Be careful. Good luck, and shoot me an email when you've got your completed data set, and I'll send you the completed graph so that you can, get done a little faster.